White House correspondent is over there. Jeff, what was your takeaway from this briefing?
Well, if I think first and foremost, Sean Spicer yesterday in the briefing, as we all heard, promised a follow-up on, some basic questions of how the House Intelligence Chairman ended up here at the White House complex a week ago this evening, and was, looking through those the intelligence information, and Sean Spicer did not answer any of those questions. And the White House, in fact, has told us that they simply do not intend to say who cleared him in, who escorted him in, who started all of this here. So this was a bit of an abbreviated briefing because the president is going over to the EPA to sign an executive order today. So the press secretary was not taking as many questions as he normally does, but they, simply did not provide that follow-up information. And back to the Yates testimony for 1 second, as Gloria and Brianna were talking about there. Yes, the White House says, we'd be happy to have her testify, but that is not the feeling that we get here talking to people. She, of course, has her involvement in all of this. She has some information about, the events leading up to the firing of Michael Flynn. She had conversations with the White House counsel's office. This is not something, as they said, the White House wants to talk about here. But the Senate Intelligence Committee also wants to talk about wants to talk to her. So this is not the end at all. But the White House's aggressive pushback on that Washington Post report does not quite square with their true intention here, Wolf. They do not want her to testify, despite what Sean Spicer said from this podium, I can tell you.
They were worried, and this is the widespread assumption, Jeff, that if this hearing had taken place today with these three top officials from the Obama administration testifying about the Russian involvement, the cyber attacks during the presidential campaign, the leaks of confidential emails and all of that, that could have been one more step of another cloud, if you will, hanging over the Trump administration, as last Monday's hearing was with the FBI director and the director of the National Security Agency.
No question, Wolf, and you do have to wonder how many of those hearings like that this administration can withstand. I mean, it was only a week ago when the FBI director said, in an extraordinary testimony, that the FBI is indeed investigating this. So, certainly it's in the White House's interest to limit these numbers of public hearings and things, but the reality here is that they're likely to happen at some point, if not this week, Wolf.
Because we don't know specifically what the former head of director of national intelligence, James Clapper, would have been saying at this hearing today. We don't know what John Brennan, the former CIA director, what he would have been saying. But until January 20th, they were in charge of the U.S. intelligence community. Presumably, they had pretty good information about what was going on, and in the end they decided that was not going to happen. But now we're hearing there will be a hearing. I wonder if you're hearing additional information, Jeff, before not the House Intelligence Committee, but the Senate Intelligence Committee, where there seems to be greater bipartisan cooperation between the chairman, Richard Burr, and Mark Warner, the ranking Democrat.
Certainly, there has been much better cooperation between those two senators. The Senate Intelligence Committee is sort of viewed as a sacred bipartisan ground, if you will. They've done many investigations. Of course, they have their differences between each side, but so far, at least as of now, the Senate investigation seems to be proceeding in a much more a cordial basis here, and they have given an indication that they would also like to hear this testimony from Sally Yates and others, Wolf. So again, this will continue as the House side investigation is, certainly in a disarray, it seems. The Senate is ongoing, as well as that FBI investigation still ongoing. So as much as this White House, Wolf, wants to move forward, move back to the agenda, you heard Sean Spicer talking about health care, other things, this Russia cloud is hanging over this White House, and it seems to me it will continue to do so, Wolf.
And just to be precise, and I want to button this up, on Devin Nunes, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, getting clearance to come in to the White House grounds, going next door to the West Wing, to the Eisenhower Executive Office building, and then going into one of those secure rooms, those intelligence briefing rooms, and getting access to very sensitive, classified information. An official at the White House or officials at the White House, that has to be authorized, that has to be approved.
Without question, even if you're a member of Congress, even if you're the chairman of an intelligence committee, to come onto these grounds of the White House, you must be invited in, you must be cleared in, escorted in, regardless of who you are. I talked to several former government officials yesterday who kind of walked us through this process, and they said there are several SCIFs, those secured facilities in the Eisenhower Executive Office building. Virtually all of the offices in the National Security Council suite have these secure facilities. So yes, without question, someone invited him in, they cleared him in, they escorted him in. It would simply take up looking who that was on a computer system. But this White House has made the decision to not say who that was. They believe that their visitor logs are private and privileged, certainly a departure from the Obama administration, which released most logs, even though not necessarily always in real time, Wolf.
All right, everybody stand by. We're going to continue our analysis of what we just heard. Lots of breaking news developments. We'll be right back.